So it was nearly a year ago at this point that we've seen one of the dumbest Reddit comments of all time, and I really wanted to talk about it because I find it so fascinating. Here's the comment. It's a post, actually. I don't know if the Redditors will get mad at me for calling it a comment instead of a post, but bear with me. Basically, what it is that, read the title. After adjusting Patrick Mahomes' stats, removing outliers to project the future, he heavily regresses to around a level of 2018 Dak. This is an interesting thesis, but the logic behind it makes absolutely no sense. I'll read some and summarize the rest, but the beginning portion will really give you an idea of what this is really talking about. In the last 2 seasons, Mahomes has a touchdown percentage of 8.68. However, the league average was just 4.8. For those of you who don't know, touchdown percentages, that's how likely on one of your pass attempts it's going to be a touchdown. So the higher, the better. If you adjust to touchdown percentage to 5%, which is still a lot above league average, he goes from throwing 57 touchdowns in his last 18 games to only 32.85. I'll be generous and give him 33. Yes, generous indeed. He does this with a couple of other statistics, one of which is pass attempts, which I actually think is fair, but the other of which is pass yards per attempt. He refers to Mahomes' over 9 passing yards per attempt, a fluky 9.01. I'm not really sure how that's fluky, but he adjusts it back to 8. So he's adjusting these things to league average. And after doing that, he finds out that his passer rating also turns out to be around league average. At the bottom, he says, what does this tell us? It tells us that Mahomes' perceived success in the league is largely inflated by unsustainable, wildly outlier stats in his 18 games as perceived elite talent. When you adjust for the future by bringing down his outlier stats, he regresses heavily to a slightly above average quarterback of 2018 Dak tierdom. Now, this is obviously insane, right? Like, there's no logic behind any of this. Why are we moving down some of the stats? If you adjust any quarterback stats to league average in terms of passing yards per attempt and touchdown percentage, chances are their passer rating is going to be right around where Mahomes' was at. I mean, that's pretty much all of the stats that we use to measure a quarterback. In fairness, what he was trying to do here is clear. This is something that we've seen in other sports, for example. Baseball comes to mind, where in baseball, they pretty much say that when you hit a ground ball, it's largely luck as if it's going to be through the middle or, through a gap, or if it just goes right to a defender. It's hard to really give too much credit to a batter, and you suspect a certain percentage of those to be hits and a certain percentage of those to be outs. Now, depending on how hard you hit it, there might be some variance, but in the MLB level, if you hit it hard, it's going to be not too much of a difference. So they basically say, I forget the exact numbers, but it's basically like your average is going to be somewhere around 300 to 330 on ground balls. That's the average that you'll get a hit on those. And so therefore, if someone is hitting 400 on ground balls, well, then you can logically think, okay, well, they're probably not as good as some of their statistics might expect, because there is this outlier and there's probably some luck involved there. But that's just one category in baseball. What he did was basically say, if you take this batter who's hitting 350 and adjust his batting average to league average, then he's league average. Again, no logic behind it whatsoever. A real world example might be if you went to go visit your parents and it took you 2 hours to get there. This is the first time you had driven in that direction. And it took you 2 hours, but you felt like there was a lot of traffic. You felt like there might be some other variables of why it took longer. And then you go and check, Google Maps, and it says it usually only takes an hour and a half. Then you would say, okay, well, yeah, traffic probably factored in. I might also be a slow driver, so maybe it'll still take me an hour and 40 minutes to get there, but it's probably going to be closer to the hour and 30 minutes than the 2 hour mark. So this can work in specific situations. This was obviously not one of those situations. However, that's not why I'm bringing this one post up. Yes, it's a largely talked about post. I find it very funny. It's very amusing. But there's other things I wanted to talk about this guy. And I think he's sort of an interesting figure for a lot of sports fans in general. About 4 weeks into last year, when Mahomes had played pretty well through 4 games. He leaves the 4th game due to an injury. Then the same person that made that last post made another post. It says this, and the reason it's in red is I had to use a second site to figure out what the actual post was, because it has since been deleted. But what's interesting about this is that he looks at the statistics and says, hey, Mahomes' stats are actually even lower than I projected them. This is a very interesting thing. Now, he admittedly admits that, listen, it's a smaller sample size, but hey, there clearly is still some evidence that he regressed. So I was right? Well, no, of course not. I mean, you can be right about something and still be stupid in the way you got there. Last year, when the playoffs were about to start, I predicted the Kansas City Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. That was smart by me, and I had actual reasoning for why it happened. However, if I predicted the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl because I thought Patrick Mahomes was good looking, that would be a terrible reason, and I would be stupid, and I would be ridiculed for saying that, even though the Chiefs did go on to win the Super Bowl. Likewise, here with our friend, he was incorrect here. He was very incorrect in his assessment of why Mahomes would regress. There's plenty of reasons to expect that a rookie quarterback or a first-year starter who threw 50 touchdowns, you would assume that they would regress to some degree just naturally. You would assume that that's not going to be their floor. They're going to have some lower seasons. But with our Reddit friend, he's still not entirely grasping why he was so made fun of in his original post. He even says in the beginning, I keep getting PMs taunting me for a post I made where I adjusted Mahomes' stats to account for outliers, which is not a new concept in statistical analysis. He even goes on to say, but nonetheless, a lot of people freaked out. People who insulted me into PMs when I made it. I will take your apologies now. But nobody was mocking him because of the fact that he said Mahomes would regress. People were mocking him because of how he thought that Mahomes would regress. And while I do agree that PMing somebody or, going out of your way to be rude to somebody, it's never an okay thing to do, no matter how dumb to take. But at the same time, this was a very funny take. So while I don't excuse that, I think the people in the comments making jokes is totally okay. And listen, I'm making a video about it. It doesn't stop there. He's made another post that I find fantastic, which was right before the Super Bowl, which was a quote that said, "Is there anything the Chiefs are better than the 49ers at? I don't see it." He rates passing as equal because they both have equally good tight ends. The Chiefs have Tyreek Hill, who is better than any of the other receivers, but the rest of the Kansas City Chiefs receivers are worse than Sanders and Debo. In this situation, he completely doesn't even talk about the quarterbacks, one of which being Mahomes. So he has a question that is there anything the Chiefs are better than the 49ers at? He doesn't even bring up quarterback, which is obviously the main thing that was the difference in that Super Bowl. Even heading into the Super Bowl, we knew that was the main thing. Like I said, I'm not making fun of this guy or I'm not making this video to make fun of him. I'm making fun of him a little, but I'm not making this video just to mock some person. In fact, I love that someone like this exists. I love that there's someone out there that will just completely come up with an idea and say, this is what's going on. I think that's just fantastic. I don't care that there's no logic behind it. I don't care that he's clearly biased, as he has a New England Patriots flair, and you see that, he's criticized Mahomes on so many different opportunities that he probably just doesn't like Mahomes and is trying to figure out ways to make his stats not seem as good when in fact his stats are very good. Or maybe he's just a troll and maybe he just enjoys, riling people up, and someone saying that Mahomes is not very good, maybe that's a way to rile people up. But the way this guy has posted a ton, he's also posted a lot in our NBA. I don't think that's the case. I think he truly believes this stuff and just had a bad take. And instead of saying, you know what, that was just a bad take, I just wasn't thinking, he says, no, I am right, and doubles down. There's a reason why I love this guy so much. And there's a reason why I love his takes so much. And it's the fact that no matter what, he's going to find some sort of thing that makes him feel right. And the reality is, you can look at numbers all day and you're going to find something that makes your quarterback seem better than your division rival's quarterback. You can always find something. I just think it's an interesting case study. And if you get too biased by a take, you might end up saying something that's just unbelievably dumb. And so that's kind of, I kind of look at this post as sort of a way to remind myself, hey, make sure you stay unbiased or you're going to say some even more dumb takes than I already do. And I definitely have my fair share of stupid takes. I don't know. I love this guy. What do you guys think about this whole thing? And also, just so you know, if you adjust my YouTube analytics to YouTube League average, I am an average YouTuber. So honestly, I would take that as a compliment. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.